Hello guys, so today I am going to weigh all of my animals. Now this is DIY Reptiles, and if you're not familiar with everything, this is my reptile room here, or my bedroom. And I weigh all of my animals every 7th of every month to ensure that they're doing well and make sure that everything is going well. Now, it's quite late, it's about 10 o'clock on the dot right now, and I had other things I was working on, so now I'm going to weigh them all. The turtles are all still pretty active, so it won't really bother them. And then the leopard gecko and the crested geckos are crepuscular, so this is kind of about the time they would be coming out anyway, or starting to become active, and I need to feed them, so I will be doing that. And besides that, we have the green iguana. I will not be weighing her because it stresses her out to handle. Her and I just kind of have a interesting relationship. I never really handle her, but she does well, and she's pretty alright with me, somewhat tame. Then we have my bearded dragon that's not in my room because he's in quarantine. We'll weigh him last, and he will be asleep, but it won't really bother him too much. And then upstairs I have a tortoise as well, a Russian tortoise, and I will go ahead and weigh her again. It shouldn't really bother her too much. So first off, I'm going to check out the roaches real quick. So I have a couple colonies of roaches, 2 colonies of dubia roaches, a colony of hissing cockroaches, and then a colony of red runner roaches. And I'm going to go ahead and feed them some more because I fed them the other day and I think all the food's already gone. So I feed them fresh vegetables as well as a couple other things. So here we have the 2 dubia roach colonies. They're quite overpopulated and they definitely need cleaned out. I'm aware of this, I just haven't had the time to clean it out. It's gonna be like a day project. So I feed a large range of things that include rolled oats as more of a dry food for them to always have to eat. And then as well as that, I also feed Zoom Ed turtle diet. So I just go ahead and put that in there, and that's this right here. And then they'll eat that, and then they'll get like the protein and everything from that. As well as I put calcium powder in here. So one way that you can supplement your animals is actually feeding calcium powder to the roaches as well. So gut loading, you can also do that with supplements, or at least that's the way that I understand it. So I have started doing that. And then I feed fresh vegetables, so then they can stay hydrated and whatnot, and also, add nutrients to like the gut loading and everything. So here we have red runner roaches, and they have been doing extremely well and breeding like crazy. And then we also have the Madagascar hissing cockroaches, which, believe it or not, have also been doing well and breeding like crazy, which is awesome. So I'm gonna have a bunch of hissing cockroaches, which is gonna be really cool. So there's a baby right there. We don't want it to get out, so we're gonna go ahead and add food in with everybody, and then we can start with the reptiles. Okay, so I was just going to wait until I had finished feeding all of the crested geckos, and then I would go ahead and weigh everybody. But I'm gonna go ahead and weigh Darwin right now because it seems like she is about to head over and try to lay some eggs or something, and she's about to get in an area that I won't be able to get her out. Okay, so this is her. I literally just had her in my hands, and now she's going down there. And if I touch her, she's chirping because she doesn't want me to touch her. They kind of shake their head weird, and I guess she's about to lay eggs because she went down there. That's generally what she's probably doing, so that is kind of annoying. I guess I'll wait a while. I'll weigh some other things, and then I'll weigh some other animals, and then I'll come back to her and see if she's like laying eggs, then I'll leave her alone, but otherwise I will try to get her at some point. Okay, so it's just been a wild attempt at a weighing video so far today. Okay, so here's what happened. I put them here to sit on the tree. I put them like across the tree, and that way I wouldn't have to get them back out to then weigh them, because I didn't want them like going down into their foliage and whatnot. And then Teddy came across here, and then Linus like jumped at her, and I wasn't really watching, so then I like saw him shaking his tail all weird, like not like a scared type of shake, but more like a breeding type of shake. I know that sounds pretty strange, but like I don't know, I've been around these crest geckos a lot. I know the way that they act most of the time, and that wasn't a feed response, and it wasn't a scared shake. It was like a I'm in breeding mode, where's the female type of shake. So I was like, let's see what happened. Obviously it didn't seem like Teddy was completely into it, but I didn't think what happened would happen. I had no idea. Honestly, I didn't really, like, I knew that they bit each other's tails, but I didn't at the same time. Like, I figured he would just kind of like try to walk up on her, and then she'd jump off, and then I'd, move her or whatever. But I didn't expect that. So after that happened, I eventually put down the camera, and then I like put my fingers around his mouth, like this, like around his head, and I kind of squeezed in to get his mouth to open up enough, because his grip was like crazy hard on that tail, to let the tail go. And then I put Teddy and I put him back, and I don't think it's a good idea to mess with Teddy tonight, which is really annoying, because I mean, obviously I didn't want to harm Teddy, but also I was supposed to weigh him. So as far as that goes, I believe Darwin's going to be pretty good to weigh. I don't think she's laying eggs from where she's at right now. So I will be able to weigh her, and I'll be able to weigh Linus, because I'm not worried about him. I don't think that was traumatic for him. That was all caused by him. So I think that was mainly Teddy, and I don't want to bother her. So I'm really, really fingers crossed hoping that she doesn't drop her tail from that, because I'd imagine that was pretty traumatic, and I was surprised that she didn't do that then. But what was pretty interesting is that both of them were biting. They've never bitten anything in their lives, okay? I mean, like, she'll bite DB roaches, she'll go at crickets, but like, as far as I am concerned, they would never bite me at all. And he bit her, and then she tried to bite him as well, but she was like mouth open going wild, because I mean, she was being attacked. So I mean, that's understandable, but that's just kind of crazy to me. Okay, everybody is fed and taken care of, so now I can go ahead and start with Darwin, who I believe is not currently laying eggs at this moment. So we're going to go ahead and start with her. Now, Darwin is my female crested gecko, as you might imagine, and she's been doing pretty well, I think. She definitely has eggs, and I definitely think that she's going to be laying them pretty soon. As you can see, she's nice and plump right now, I think. Yep, that seems right about right. As I said, Teddy is pretty stressed out because of this crazy dude, so we're going to weigh him next, and then we will do Elizabeth, who's right here. I'm gonna have to get her out of her hide. I'm going to try to get him out, and here he is. Here he is. I think he's my longest crested gecko. He's very long, but he's always been really difficult to eat, which is really annoying. So I feel like that's pretty good. I'm gonna check. So again, he grew just the slightest bit since last month. He's just slowly growing for some reason. Here we have Beth, and she's just, I don't know, she always looks like she's pregnant, which is probably a bad thing. But I don't think she's overweight. She's just been like this for a really long time. But she does well. She eats. I believe she defecates just fine. And she is healthy, other than the fact that she's chubby in the tummy for some reason. And I mean, you might say like eggs, but it's been like that for a long time. So eventually I'll have that figured out. But for now, it's not really a huge concern, because she's been doing very well. I don't think she was very happy with the noise that my thing just made, because she's doing quite an intense tail deal right there. And I think that has to do with her not liking this. But this is actually the only interaction I ever have with Beth, is every month. And she does just fine with it. She's quite tame considering that fact. But at the same time, she's not as tame as she could be, and I'm perfectly fine with that. It doesn't really bother me. I mainly really enjoy her enclosure. I think it's really cool. And obviously, I like her, but she's just not an animal that I interact with a whole lot, because I don't really have time, and I don't think that's an issue for either one of us. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the turtles. Let's start off with Lewis. One thing about Lewis is that he will not just sit on the thing. So I have this tub here. All of these tubs under my bed are used for storage, and I need to find, there's a certain container that I always put Lewis in, and that's this one right here. So I keep, old containers for different things, but in that tub it's like random building supplies, like random bits of like egg crate and PVC pipe, just different things, because this is DIY Reptiles. I build quite a lot of things, and it's helpful to have stuff that I can use for projects, so I tend to keep stuff. So I just have to make it so this is like here. And then I'll go ahead and throw him in, and, well, I mean, lightly and whatnot, and weigh him. Generally, the turtles will gain a little bit of weight, or they'll sustain weight, but he's pretty prone to dropping weight every once in a while, and even he'll gain weight sometimes, or he'll just keep the same weight, or he'll drop weight, which is really annoying, because a lot of the turtles just always gain a little bit, or at least sustain. Like, I mean, a lot of these turtles are pretty old, so you're kind of looking for them to sustain the same weight. So let's see if I can just get him to sit still for a second. I think I'm gonna go with the 952. If I can. Let's see if this will help. Okay, we're gonna go with 949. I just did that just for a second to get him to kind of stop moving for a second. So 949 is not good, you see? That's bad, because he should be at like 10 something. So I don't know why, because he eats a ton. I think it's just because he's so very active. He's like the most active turtle ever. And as you can see, he never sits still whatsoever. So that could be it. But I don't know, he's just always been like that, which is just really aggravating, because his shell is really amazing. Like a lot of aspects of him are really great, and he has an amazing personality, but for some reason he just doesn't seem to sustain weight. But I mean, it'll eventually go back up. It's not something I'm gonna, like, it doesn't always drop. It'll go back up, and then it'll kind of go back down again. So it's kind of annoying. Maybe it's a yearly pattern, and I just have to figure it out. I have had him for quite a while. I don't know if it's been over a year. I don't know if it's been over 2 years. So he is about 5.5 inches. So I just looked, and he did in fact go up in weight throughout the last month, and he has the last couple months. But again, that was from a pretty poor weight originally, because it went down like super a lot at a certain month. So I don't know what's going on there. But now we're gonna get Norman. So as I said, this is a very unsocialized turtle. So as you can see, he's just, yeah, I like to get the water off of them, and this also gives me an opportunity to clean the shell to make sure there's not any buildup or anything. Now, this isn't something you need to do often. This isn't even something that you need to do. It's just something I do mainly just to get the water off of them, so then I'm not weighing water. But I'm just gonna put him right there. And I feel like that isn't very good, actually. So I will have to compare that. But it isn't bad, that is for sure. So I was correct, that wasn't very great for him. But it's important to keep in mind that he's going through a transition period right now. So I just moved him in from being outside, and now he's gone through like 2 different tanks because he was where Susan is, but I had to move him. I'm just gonna grab Phoebe here, and she's quite a massive turtle, as I said. Now Susan's actually a little bit bigger, but I gotta go ahead and dry her off. Okay, so that seems pretty much what it should be for her. And now I'm gonna measure her. So I do ounces and inches. I should probably switch over to grams at least, but I don't know. I'm gonna stick with ounces for now because I've done it for a while. At some point I'll probably switch over to grams. Okay, so I real quickly did Beatrice off camera. So now I'm going to move on to these 3 little guys, if they'll all let me catch them. It's gonna be kind of difficult. Luckily, they quickly learned that I mean food, so they somewhat like the look of me. But these are 3 red-eared sliders. As I said, I rescued them, and 2 of them came together. The other one was kind of in the same situation, but I got it later. So that's why they're all right about the same size. So first up here we have Adam, and he's been growing quite a lot. Let's weigh him, and 328. I honestly don't know how that is compared to what he was. Okay, so next up is Marcus, and it'll be interesting to see how their weights compare, because originally Marcus was bigger, and then the last time I weighed them, Adam was bigger, and Adam did grow quite well the last month, so 328 was good, and no worries there. Oh, he's back up. So that's pretty interesting. And he is again the biggest, or the bigger of the 2. Actually, Ruby is the biggest. So anyway, and he has a longer shell as well. Ruby is on the move. She's getting out of here. Okay, it is her turn. She'll sit here for a second. And she's quite a bit bigger, as expected. 381. And now I'm just gonna measure her real quick. She's right about the same size. Actually, she's closer in size than she was before, so I guess that's a thing. And she is right about the same length as the other 2. So they're all very similar in size and length and everything. So since we just had Ruby, I'm gonna move on to Rue. And she's right under that leaf. Well, and there she goes. Again, I don't know wow, she's fast. I don't know, she is really fast. I don't know the gender at all, because it's way too small to tell. But as you can see, this is the cutest thing ever. As you can't see, gee whiz, my filming ability. She's so cute. I can't get over how a tiny turtle looks. So I understand why people get them, but don't. This is another rescue. This actually came with Ruby, and she is just a little tiny thing. And I really don't know what she was like before, but I'm assuming that's better, hopefully. And then I can go ahead and, oh man, she's running away, but she's so tiny. Let's see. She was 2 inches the last time, so let's see. And she's still 2 inches. Let's see. 67. Okay, so she didn't actually grow at all. She pretty much stayed exactly the same within the last month, which is pretty strange for a baby turtle, but kind of makes sense at the same time, because just like Norman, she's going through a transition period, which, I mean, the other turtles aren't having a problem, but it kind of justifies that some turtles might be, is because she was in a tub and then she's in a tank, and she's just been moved around quite a lot, so it's understandable. Okay, here is Susan. Wow, she's even bigger. Gee whiz. You see this? That's 43 or 42.7 or 57. So she's almost 43, which is just crazy huge. She's 42.57, and she was 41 something last time. And now real quick, I'm gonna weigh her, or measure her. And she's 8 and 13/16. So here we have the Washita map turtles, and this is Rebecca. She's the bigger of the two, and she might be better. I'm honestly not entirely sure what her weight was last time, but I knew it went up last time, so hopefully it went up again. So it did just slightly go up. Now here is Black Lip making a mess on the ground, going nuts and everything. That's one thing about these two, is they're not very friendly with humans. They're not mean like Norman, but they're just very afraid. But they've been getting better since I've had them in my room, so that's a good thing. But anyway, Rebecca's weight went up just by a little bit, but even a little bit is good, so I'm happy with that. And again, I didn't check hers, so I don't know what that is like. But next up is Richard. Okay, so Richard's very tired and he was sleeping, but just gotta weigh him real quick. Okay, he's pretty good. That's what I'm gonna go with. 1968, and then as far as length goes, he is 18 and 3/4. Hello, this was quite a long video, so I doubt anybody really made it here, but if you're watching this, good job. Put down in the comments that you got to the end of the video, and have a great day. I'm gonna go because I'm sick and I feel awful, so there's that.